Hello blog readers, this is Monkey Room. I wanted to post about Burda magazine and the differences between Burda magazine that I have on my subscription in the US and Burda magazine that I purchased here in Germany. I wanted to post about it, but I realized I'd have to take a gazillion pictures and post them all, and that would take a long time, so I thought I'd get out my little flip recorder and try and make a podcast. So I've been getting Burda style in the mail for years and years and years, and I've always wondered what the difference was between the Burda we get in the US and the Burda that you can buy in Germany. And I expected that there wasn't much difference, and in fact you get the exact same patterns. This is the US one, and the patterns, oh wait, this is different. This I just noticed, and this is why I wanted to post about it. I noticed in the book stand that this, I don't know why you can see this, this is the German one, and it had a bound edge as opposed to the stapled edge of the US one. And I thought, well, that's interesting, and lo and behold, they have this separate section where they put the instructions and the patterns, and then they have a real nice and clear larger pictures of all of the styles. So that was the main difference, and this is removable, so you can have your magazine portion and you can have your patterns and instructions separate. And wow, would I have loved this, because these magazines take up a lot of space, and what I'd been doing at home was going to the line drawings here and Xeroxing them, and then I would put those in a notebook, and I would take out the patterns and keep them in a separate container. And I would do this every time that they came, and then I would go through my line drawings, pick out what I wanted, and then I could go find the magazine and look at the pictures. So anyway, this having them separate would be really cool. And I don't know how long they've been doing this. I've only been here in Germany a few months, and I noticed that like I said, I noticed right off the spine was different. So what else is different? Let's see. I mean, they actually have the exact same model on the front, just a few little minor differences in how they positioned it, which is kind of interesting, but otherwise it's the same. So I decided to go page by page, and the first thing I noticed, and you may have noticed this in the States, is that Burda does not have any advertisements. The only advertisements they have is for their own Burda things, which is fine, because advertisements in German wouldn't do very much good for us in the US. So of course there are advertisements. Here's some for some shoes. But we're also missing this editorial. Of course, they would have had to translate it from German, so I guess that's why we don't have it. Here's another ad. And then we have the table of contents. And here's the US version. And it has, it only has this much as a table of contents, one page. And the German version has 2 pages of table of contents, because there's more content. Let's go through, let's see, this is in here, this show of some different necklines, I guess that is. That is in the US version somewhere, so that's the same. This I saw was in the US version. Here's an ad for the winter style, I think that's in there. This changing some dress into a shirt, I guess, is in the US version. I think that, yes, that's actually on the cover page, inside cover page here. And actually I found that all of the patterns and the pictures or the poses, and as far as I can tell, the information is the same, which is good news, because I know a lot of US readers have wondered, are we missing out on something that is in the German edition that we don't get? So in that aspect, no, you're not. You are getting everything that is in the the German one as far as the patterns go and the views and everything. There are a few other differences, though. I'll get into that. So here, this is the US version at a glance, okay? And that is the same that they show on the back in the in this pull-out section. And I guess it looks to be a little bit bigger. Well, and certainly we don't have this view. This is a small view of all of the poses, the model poses. We only have, and here's some more model poses on the inside cover of this pull-out section. We only have this at a glance, which is shown right here in the US version. So let me go back to the, so we have the you know, like I said, these are exactly the same, but I noticed there were some differences. Let's see if I can find one. I guess it's later on. But, oh, this was new. This is in the German version. There's a whole article on the 70s and mods. That's because they had a selection of styles that are 70s styles. See here in the US one, I don't know if you can read this, it says 70s style. And, you know, they're just here in the US version, but in the German version, they have a whole article on the 70s mod style, which adds to the magazine. I think, yes, that's the same. And then, of course, we have extra ad things. They're always pushing, I think, to get a subscription. And if I'm here long enough, maybe I'll do that. So we have, these are the same. Oh, here's the difference. Here's the US version picture, the model, and the explanation. And here in the US one, they have an additional, I forget what these little things are called, but you can take a picture of it with your smartphone and get more information. I guess, whether they're QR code. I guess the point is that this would be in German, and obviously wouldn't make sense for US, or they didn't translate it. So we have all of the patterns and everything are the same. We have how to make this bag. And here's a difference. This is one of the main differences in the German magazine versus the US magazine. The German magazine, the magazine portion is more like a fashion magazine. Here they have a whole section that doesn't exist in the US one on you know, different style things. And I guess because they're all things that you would buy in Germany or in Europe, so they don't have them in the US version. Here's another part in another layout in the German version that has something about lipsticks. Then this was curious. This section here is titled Happy Birthday in German edition. And of course, I find that a lot over here, English words. But I found it curious because in the US version, that section comes later, which isn't the reason, but they call it in fine form. Why didn't they say happy birthday? I don't know. That was just funny to me. So let's see, what else is different? As I said, just all of the models, the patterns, everything is the same. Here's another layout on different beauty products. This was in the US version. Here, this doesn't show up in the US one. They have reader submissions. A gallery of things that people have made. That's not in the US version. More patterns. An advertisement, and this is kind of interesting. This is a magazine that you can only get over here. It's a special magazine in 4 editions, and I have actually purchased the first 3. They have spaced it out over the year, I guess. All of these include instructions on how to do different sewing things. Apparently the 4 of these combined would make up a book. That's what this says here. They obviously, this ad is not in the US version because you can't get it in the US. I don't know that this, I don't believe this section, this layout was in the US version. Again, these sort of things make it more magazine-like and a little bit more for your money. Which incidentally, this costs €4.90 in Germany. And funnily, if you could get this English version, it would cost €6 in Germany. Funny thing. This was in the US version. This additional pattern here. However, here's an ad because it's for a local soap, I guess, that is just here. That's not in this edition. Here's another page that is only in the German one. That's talking about different books that you can get. Then we're back to, here's the plus size, and again they have these little codes for more information. I really like the way Burda has real women modeling their plus clothes. It's aggravating when you are a larger size that you can't really see what it would look like on a real person. Not that models aren't real people, it's just that the majority of women are much bigger. Here's another section. I don't believe this was in the US one. It, again, is a layout of different style and accessories and things. Then we have the children's section. That is in the US, obviously. And I don't believe there were any differences here. Then we have the things you can make, and I don't know if these were, yes they were, and here's the US one. It's the same. Decorating ideas, the same. This was not in the US version, which is a shame. It's an article about I guess it's a woman who makes these baskets or something. I haven't translated it yet to figure out what it's all about, but again, these are the sort of things that make the magazine more, richer. Here's an advertisement. Here's another one that's not in the US version. Talks about different yarns, I guess. Again, I haven't translated it all. I'm still learning my German. This is in the US version. It's the designer dress that's in here, and so it's an article about the designer. And I believe all of that is in this magazine in its entirety, in the US magazine. Stars and Stripes, was that in here? I don't think this one was, which I also found kind of funny because it's Stars and Stripes. It's a US type of thing. I'm quickly looking through to see, and I do not see it. No, it is not in the US version. So it was just a little instruction on how to make this Stars and Stripes pillow. This, I believe, this is the one pattern that they show. Yes, that is in the US, and everything is the same in both magazines. There's another ad. And then this is where to find all these different textiles and notions and things. That is obviously not in the US version because they're all European. And then we have Fashion Week. I don't know that was in, no, I didn't remember seeing that in the US version. And advertisements for, again, for subscribing to the magazine. Making a candle with a teacup. Again, I don't think that was in the US version. And then more information on where to find things. And then this is not in the US version. This full layout of what's coming up next in October. And interestingly enough, the pictures weren't even the same. Here's the US version. It shows the coat, a few things, and then here's the 2-page spread on what's coming up, and here's a lovely coat, pea coat style, that is going to be in the next October edition. Slightly different. This is the only one I saw that was the same. Well, yeah, and it's just a different view, which was interesting. And then this was also in the U.S. one. And then we have our pullout. And then this is an advertisement, but I want to point it out because we here in Europe can benefit from this Stoffmarkt Holland. It's a fabric, I guess a fabric market that goes to all these different cities in August, September, October, November. I don't know that I'll get to it. Maybe, we'll see. But anyway, and then we have an advertisement on the back, which is different than the U.S. one, which is just a Burda advertisement. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this little tour of the differences between Burda Germany and Burda U.S. Thanks for watching. Bye.